Today we're going to talk about school report cards. School report cards are the same idea that teachers are familiar with in terms of student report cards. Students work for a while, and then every so many weeks we send home a report to the parents that let them know how the kids are performing. Well, in a similar fashion, a school report card is an annual document that is made public on the Kentucky Department of Education website, and it provides information to parents about the nature of the school, how much money is being spent per student, where's the school located, who's on the school council, a bunch of information like that. So today we're going to consider school report cards, and we begin by going to the KDE website. And when you go to the KDE website, this time you're going to find school report cards listed under initiatives. And when you click on this, you'll be able to see pretty clearly that you can get a state report card, you can get a district report card, or what we're interested in today is an individual school's report card. And for our purposes, let's take a look at my old school. And I was in Fayette County. And the name of the school is Cassidy Elementary. And we'll take a look at Cassidy's card. And here is Cassidy's card. Now notice at the top that you've got different tabs for this. Here's a general profile that we're looking at now. There are also tabs for accountability, assessment, program review, learning environment, finance, delivery targets, and career and technical education, which is of particular focus with our secondary schools. So here you can see quite quickly where Cassidy School is located within the state, within the city of Lexington. You get a photograph of the outside of the school and some basic information: address, phone number, name of the school, how many students are in the school, what's the grade range, whether or not this is a Title I school. There is a code for the school, and that's mostly used for state purposes. Classification school, an A1 school, is a typical public school in good standing. The current principal is my old assistant, Rhonda Pfister. Here are the members of the school council, and at a glance you get an idea of the accountability performance of the school. So when the test was new last year, they produced data, but there was no judgment made about the level of the school. In 2013-2014, the data remains the same. The school ranks in the 98th percentile in the state, and that's a distinguished category. Now, by clicking on the accountability tab above, then we go to the school's accountability profile. And here you see some of that basic information that we saw on the front page, but we also drill down a little bit deeper into the school's annual measurable objectives, called AMOs. And this is sort of a breakdown of various parts of the curriculum and testing that students, their performance measures that the students are supposed to reach, and whether or not the school met all of those goals. And it looks to me like Cassidy got close, but did not meet every one of those goals. They did have enough students participating in the test, however. There weren't students that were being exempted from the test. And this shows you how the state calculates that combined score for accountability purposes. Now when we click on the assessment tab, it brings us to this page that shows the performance rating for the school on the K-Prep test. That's the name of the state test that all the schools take. And you can see that performance is broken down for reading, math, science, social studies, writing, and language mechanics down at the bottom. Let's just take a quick look at reading. This shows the enrollment, that is the number of students that were tested in the school, compares that to the number tested in the district and across the state, shows the participation rate for the school, district, and state, shows the percentage of students who were rated at the novice level at the school, at the district, and at the state, and the percentage of students that rated as apprentice for the school, district, and state, and the percentage proficient, and the percentage distinguished. And then you see a combination of the proficient and distinguished students ranked for the school, the district, and the state. And this is a pretty common measure that we use to add proficient and distinguished together, both of those being good categories. So this is where the schools get a breakdown of their academic performance data. Now, clicking on the Program Review tab at the top brings you here. Currently, there are 3 program reviews that are included in the Kentucky Accountability System. There's one for Arts and Humanities, Practical Living and Career Studies, and the third one for Writing. There are 4 identical standards across all 3 program reviews, and the idea behind this is that these are areas that are not directly assessed in the K-Prep test. Yet, it's very important that schools have vital programs in Arts and Humanities, Practical Living and Career Studies, and Writing. And so, schools assess this according to the things that the school has done to improve these areas as measured against a scoring guide called a rubric, as you're probably familiar with. For each standard, you can score somewhere between 0 and 3. Not if there's no evidence of something, that's a 0. If there's evidence of performance in, let's say, writing, but it's not very solid, then you would have a score of needs improvement, and then a score of 1. A score of 2 is for proficient demonstration, and a score of 3 is for just an outstanding, or what we call a distinguished presentation of what's being done to assist in, let's say, writing. Then across the various areas, those are combined into a total score with a possible of 12. There's actually a 4th area that I haven't pointed out very effectively, and that's measuring what they call the primary program. And that is the performance of students from kindergarten through 3rd grade. So all 4 of these have a possibility of 3 points each, and those are added together to give a school a total score. And it's important to mention that the schools do this scoring themselves. So this is a little bit different from what we're used to in the testing program, where some neutral party actually rates you. In this case, the schools rate themselves. Clicking on the Learning Environments tab would bring us here. And this is where we get a breakdown of the students in the school, and we get a demographic look as well. So the total membership of students in the school, 671. Spending per pupil is $8,473 per student in the school. That's a bit below the district average of $11,800 and the state average of $10,200. Yet Cassidy would be considered a high-end school because we have a substantial percentage of parents from affluent families that would send their children to Cassidy. Therefore, they get a little bit less state money. Average daily attendance for the school is right at 650 students. Then there is a breakdown in the membership of the school by grade. That's just the number of students in a particular grade. So 18% of the students are kindergartners, and that's 121 kids. And you can see that breakdown for the other grade levels. There's also a breakdown by race. Cassidy School is 73.2% white, 7.3% African American, 6.7% Hispanic, 7.7% Asian, 0.3% American Indian or Native Alaskan, 0.3% Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, and 4.5% of students that identify as being from 2 or more races. And that's a fairly new statistic in the schools. I think the first time I saw that was somewhere around 2011. There is also a breakdown by gender, number of boys in the school, number of girls in the school, and a breakdown of economic status of the students according to whether or not they qualify for free or reduced lunch. Here's where you get a peek at the economic base of Cassidy School, with only 26.4% of the students qualifying for free lunch and 4.5% qualifying for reduced price lunches. And then some what they call by student success rate. We've got an attendance rate of 96%, a retention rate of 2.5. And then the other data are that one would find on here are for secondary schools, where we're looking at transition to adult life. So we don't get much data from our elementary schools on that. Now, if you were to look at the remaining three tabs, those for finance, delivery targets, and career and technical education, you'd find that there isn't any data available for Cassidy School. Being an elementary school, I don't think delivery targets and career and technical education data will ever be available for it. And finance, I'm not sure why there isn't finance data there. We did see that one piece of information about the per pupil expenditure at the school, and I'm not sure what other financial data is intended to go in there, but the state does not have that populated yet. So, now you've had an overview of the school report card. There's a lot of information in there, and as you work with your school contextual analysis, you'll be digging into some of this. This is good data to include in your description of the school that you'll be taking a look at this semester. So make sure that you spend some time becoming familiar with the school report card. And also, you might want to think about the school report card from the point of view of a parent. I mean, what if you were shopping to determine where you wanted to buy a home so that you could figure out what school your child was going to attend? Would information like you've seen in the school report card help kind of steer you one way or another? I mean, in the end, we can only afford the homes that we can afford, and our work frequently dictates where it is that we need to live. But within that certain range, there are some choices that parents have, and having some information to help make decisions about those choices is the intent behind a school report card. It's a way to provide some information to the public about the performance of our schools.